Good morning. It's good to see you today. Welcome to 3-Minute Man. I hope you're doing well. I was thinking about the verses that we've been looking at the last couple of days when Jesus says it is not what goes into the mouth that defiles a man, but it is what comes out of the mouth. Thinking about those verses, and I want you to think about 5 times where eating is mentioned in the New Testament, and it is New Testament Thursday, where we might need to think about what we eat and how we eat. One is in Romans chapter 14 and verse 20. It says, "Do not destroy the work of God. For the sake of food, all things indeed are pure, but it is evil for the man who eats with offense." We need to think about other people, whether it is our brethren or whether it is outsiders. We need to think about what sort of example we are being. We need to think, because a lot of times we find ourselves being stumbling blocks, either intentionally or ignorantly, because we're not examining ourselves and thinking about other folks and what our actions are being perceived as. Right? We don't want to be a stumbling block to someone else. Okay? So if we eat, as this is talking about Jew and Gentile here in Romans, we have to think about other folks. We do not want our good to be spoken of as evil. That's one time. The second time I wanted to mention is in the same chapter. Verse 23, it says, "But he who doubts is condemned if he eats, because he does not eat from faith. For whatever is not from faith is sin." If I'm violating my own conscience, if I'm not comfortable doing something, if I'm not sure I should do something, then I should not do it. Because whatever I do, I have to do it from faith. And that includes eating. It has to be from faith. If it's not in faith, then it's sin. Right? So yes, food in and of itself is not inherently sinful. It's how do we eat? What's coming out of our hearts? What's coming out of our minds? If we're not doing it in faith, then it is indeed sinful. In 1 Timothy chapter 4, at verse 4, something else is mentioned. 1 Timothy chapter 4, at verse 4, it says, "For every creature of God is good, and nothing is to be refused, if it is received with thanksgiving." If I'm not thankful for my food, then what is it? It's sinful. If I'm not thankful to God for His providential care for me, then it is sinful. We need to be thankful for our food. If we're not thankful for it, then it is sin. In 2 Thessalonians, a couple other places, in 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, at verse 10, we read, "If anyone will not work, neither shall he eat." If I eat, but I am a lazy man, and I do not work, and I do not do what the Lord wants me to do, then it is sin. Then it is sin. A lazy man, if a man is not working, says, neither shall he eat. One more time I want to think about in 1 Corinthians chapter 11. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, at verse 22, we read the following verse. It says, "Do you not have houses to eat and drink in?" Talking about the church. The church came together to partake of the Lord's Supper. That's the meal that the church partakes of. Any other meal, and it's the wrong meal. The church came together for a holy purpose, and that was to break bread. Hope you enjoyed this study. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Thanks for studying with us.